The Poison Arrow. Once upon a time at the Jeddah Grove, there was a monk named Malikayaputa. Malikayaputa found himself disturbed because of Buddha's refusal to respond to the 14 unanswerable questions. These questions included queries about the nature of the cosmos and life after death of a Buddha. Malikayaputa then meets with Buddha and asks him for the answers to these questions. He says to Buddha, "World-honored one, if you do not answer, I will renounce you and your teachings." The Buddha remained silent. Malikayaputa grew impatient as he exclaimed sternly, "Is it you simply do not know the answers? Or is it because you do not wish me to become as wise as you are?" The Buddha looked up at him with compassion and said, "I never promised to reveal ultimate metaphysical truths such as those, and often I have reminded you that your precious human life should be used for spiritual practice. It is then, and only then, that you will know all that there is to be known as a fully realized being. To persist in seeking the metaphysical and the mundane will not bring you to the other shore, enlightenment." Then Buddha offered the following discourse. There once was a man who was wounded with an arrow saturated with poison. His friends and companions offered to get him a doctor, but the man said, "Wait, I won't have this arrow removed until I know whether the man who wounded me was a noble warrior, a priest, a merchant, or a worker." He then said, "I won't have this arrow removed until I know the given name and clan of the man who wounded me, until I know whether he was tall, medium, or short, until I know whether he was dark, ruddy brown, or golden colored, until I know his home village, town, or city, until I know whether the bow with which I was wounded was a long bow or a crossbow, until I know whether the bowstring with which I was wounded was fiber, bamboo threads, sinew, hemp, or bark, until I know whether the shaft with which I was wounded was wild or cultivated, until I know whether the feathers of the shaft with which I was wounded were those of a vulture, a stork, a hawk, a peacock, or another bird, until I know whether the shaft with which I was wounded was bound with sinew of an ox or a water buffalo or a monkey." He would say, "I won't have this arrow removed until I know whether the shaft with which I was wounded was that of a common arrow, a curved arrow, a barbed, a calf-toothed, or an oleander arrow." The man suddenly fell dead without any of his queries being satisfied. The Buddha always told his disciples not to waste their time and energy in metaphysical speculation. Whenever he was asked a metaphysical question, he remained silent. Instead, he directed his disciples toward practical efforts. Questioned one day about the problem of the infinity of the world, the Buddha said, "Whether the world is finite or infinite, limited or unlimited, the problem of your liberation remains the same. Life is so short, it must not be spent in endless metaphysical speculation that does not bring us any closer to the truth." Namaste.